What's poppin', YouTube fan? Alright, today I'm gonna talk about my diet that I'm gonna be going on. Now, I'm gonna say this for you men that wanna lose weight, and for some reason, it ain't happening. For some reason, you diet, you exercise, and you're just not losing weight, and you're like, what the hell's going on? First things first, usually we eat way more calories than we think we're eating, because we fail to count for how many calories are in every single thing that we eat and drink. Because if you're drinking anything other than water, then everything you're drinking, at least most of the things you're drinking, have a lot of calories in it as well. So if you think that you're eating 2,500 calories, you're probably getting more like 3,000 calories. And now this is the thing that I had to come to realization on. I was using ChatGPT to figure this out and do all the math. And it turns out I thought that at my body weight and my height, that 2,500 calories was my, I forgot what it's called, but the amount of calories that I need at rest to maintain my current body. And when I did the math, my height, which is 5'5", my weight, which is 207 pounds, and my age, which is 33, it turns out that my actual caloric need is 1,970 something, 90 something, something like that, close to 2,000. So let's say 2,000 calories. That means that I've been dieting by eating 2,000 calories, and it turns out that that's just what I need to maintain what I currently got. And that means that all this dieting I've been doing was never going to do anything impressive. I am working out, so, I probably burn like 300, 400 calories. And I don't work out every day, so yeah. So now, if you understand how to lose weight, it all comes down to a calorie deficit. Calories in, calories out. The amount of calories you eat minus the amount of calories you burn. That's how many calories you have for the day. And if your calories are, let's say, 500 less than what you need, you will start losing weight, about 2 pounds per week. Now, of course, there are supplements and drugs that can be taken to lose weight faster. But assuming that you don't want to do that or not able to do that, doing it the natural way, it's going to be a little harder. You're probably going to lose about 2 pounds a week. So now, being that my body weight keeping my body weight, maintaining my body weight at my mean that I need 2,000 calories in order to actually run a successful diet, so that I can lose what I'm trying to lose is 27 pounds, so that I could be 180 and not ripped, but fit, like maybe 15% body fat. So I need to lose 27 pounds. So in order to achieve that in a relatively fast pace, I'm going to need to eat 1,500 calories per day. Now, if I exercise, the days that I exercise, I can eat an extra 200, maybe 300 calories. 16, 17, 18. So on a day that I exercise, let's say I burnt 300 calories, I can eat an extra 300 calories and I will still be in a deficit. I will still be at that 1,500 calorie range, meaning that I'll lose 2 pounds a week, which means 8 pounds a month, which means that in 3 months I should be at my goal in the 180s. Now, something else that's important is getting into the macros, because where you're getting your calories from is going to make a big difference on your health and your energy levels and your overall success. Being that I want to keep the muscle that I have, I'm gonna have to eat a high amount of protein. So I did some of the math, and it turns out that if you're trying to run a 1,500 calorie diet per day, and you want to have a high amount of protein, with some fat and enough carbs to feel satiated and to still have energy, because carbs that don't come from fiber turn into glucose. The glucose is turned into energy. That's why when you go on a low carb diet, you feel like crap, because there's not enough glucose in your system. So I did the math. I would like to eat more protein than this, but I would have to figure out a way to eat more protein while maintaining low calories, while staying at low calories. And I guess the only way that I can really do that is with a whey protein powder that has 25 grams of protein per scoop and is only 100 calories per scoop. But it roughly ends up evening out. Well, let me digress. Point is, the macros that I've decided on that it might work for you is 100 grams of protein, 35 grams of fat, and 200 grams of carbohydrates. Technically, it's supposed to be 196 grams of carbs, but I'm not going to be able to calculate 196 carbs. So you're better off eating one more calorie and just going for the 200 grams of carbohydrates. Now, something that you should keep in mind is that a good portion of those carbohydrates should come from a fiber source. So, just so that you know, for every gram of fiber cancels out a gram of carbohydrate. Technically, the fiber is a carbohydrate, but the fiber doesn't convert to glucose. So, if you have a food item that is 30 grams of carbohydrates, but 20 of those grams are from fiber, then you're only getting 10 grams of carbohydrates that are going to turn into glucose. This is why, if you're doing a keto diet, you have to eat no carbs, but a lot of fiber. You're still eating carbs, but all the carbs that you're eating are coming from fiber, which makes it that you're not getting any glucose, which puts you into the ketonic, the keto whatever the hell you call it, land, like keto land. Your body goes to keto land. And, yeah. So, for people that are doing keto, you can't eat sugar, you can't eat carbs, other than carbs that come from fiber. So, I would say that at least 50 of those grams of carbohydrates should come from fiber. Because if you don't have enough fiber, then you're going to start having constipation. There's going to be problems. And you also got to remember to hydrate. And try not to use pretty much anything other than water. Just water. And if you need some flavoring to help you drink more water and to not feel like crap because you don't get to drink all the good stuff, you can get some trace minerals and add some trace minerals. It won't really change the taste, but you'll have more electrolytes, so you're being, you're keeping hydrated better. And something that I do, some people will shame me for doing this, but I think that's fine. Adding like a teaspoon of citric acid to a gallon of water. You add a teaspoon of citric acid, there's zero calories, zero any nutrients, it's just lemon flavor. And you turn that gallon of water into water that slightly tastes like lemonade. It doesn't really taste like lemonade because there's no sugar, but it still has the lemon flavor. You can substitute by just putting lemon in the water, which is better. But you're actually going to save money if you use the citric acid, because a bag of citric acid is probably $20, and there's like hundreds of teaspoons in that bag, and you only need about 1 teaspoon for a gallon, whereas a lemon, you're probably going to need multiple lemons for a gallon of water, and you're going to spend a lot of money in lemons. And but yeah, so you got to remember to hydrate. I mentioned that because if you eat a lot of fiber and you don't drink enough water, that fiber kind of clots up and you continue having constipation problems even though you're eating a lot of fiber. So I think a good amount of fiber to have is about 50 grams of fiber per day. The more the better, as long as you're drinking a lot of fluids. But you still want some glucose, because that's an important aspect of where you're getting your energy from. So, ultimately, I'm going to be eating 100 grams of protein, 35 grams of fat, 200 grams of carbohydrates, 50 of those grams will come from fiber, and I will try to drink at least half a gallon of water a day with trace minerals in it, so that half a gallon keeps me hydrated. People say that you should drink a gallon of water a day, and there's some logic to that. But the problem is that if you train yourself to drink that much water each day, you start becoming, how do I say, dependent on it. And I know this sounds anti-intuitive because you're dependent on water no matter what you do. But what I'm trying to say is if you're drinking a gallon of water every single day, first of all, if there's no trace minerals in it, you're probably going to feel even more dehydrated. And you're going to feel bloated. Let me see something real quick. Let's see. 3 liters. Let's see how much is in this. 700 ml. That's 23.7 fluid ounces. I drink about 3 to 4 of these a day. I just buy a gallon of water and continue filling this bottle up, and I drink it all throughout the day. Um, Now, I'm not sure how much is a liter of water in milliliters, so I can't really do the math without using my phone. But I assume that 4 of these is about half a gallon. If you know the math, let me know. But yeah, like I was saying, if you drink a lot of water and there's no trace minerals in it, you're probably still going to be dehydrated anyways. If you put trace minerals in your water, then drinking half a gallon of water becomes sufficient. And you will prevent yourself from becoming bloated on water and from having to pee like a racehorse every 5 minutes. So I think half a gallon of water is better as long as you have trace minerals and electrolytes in the water. All right, guys. So if you're trying to copy what I'm doing now, everything is going to change depending on the person, and depending on how heavy you are, your maintenance calories is going to change. So if you're above 250, above 300, and you're not that tall, then your maintenance is probably going to be closer to 2,500 or 3,000. So you don't have to. So you have to do the math based off of your weight, your height, and your age to see what is your actual at rest calorie needs to maintain your body weight, so that you can go into a 500 calorie deficit. And then remember to keep a high portion of protein. Protein should be the main source of your nutrients, because we're trying to maintain muscle. Fat being the next important thing. Carbs not being that important, but are important because they're ultimately where you're getting a lot of your energy from. At 200 grams of carbs, I think this is a reasonable outlook on what to want. Now, of course, once I get to the weight that I need to be at and I'm no longer in a deficit, I will have to redo all these calculations to figure out how many calories do I need to maintain my body weight at that weight. And then I would, instead of increasing anything else, I'm just going to increase the protein. So if I get to my goal, which is 180, and I feel good and I look good, and it turns out that to maintain that, I need to eat 1,800 calories or 1,700 calories. That means that whatever amount of calories that I add, whether it be 100 or 300 calories that I have to add to my diet, it's all going to be in protein. Now, this does come with concerns because the basic healthy amount of protein that you should eat for the day is 80 grams of protein. Above that, you start seeing some problems. But at 100 or 120 grams of protein, that's not really when the problems start. But when you see these humongous bodybuilders that eat 200 grams of protein per day, ask them and you will find out that they have kidney problems. And they will tell you that it's not because of the protein, but everybody that eats 200 grams of protein or more have kidney problems. And isn't it kind of weird that people that eat 200 grams of protein have kidney problems, and the doctors say that eating too much protein gives you kidney problems? Do the math. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's the protein. And ultimately, above 150 grams of protein, your body probably isn't synthesizing it. Like it's probably not using all the protein. So it just becomes extra waste that your kidneys have to filter out. And that's why you develop the problems. Above 120 grams of protein, it's just unnecessary. I think that if you're big, it also I'm talking about based off of my size. If you're like 6'4", like 6'4", and 300 pounds, all muscle, then yeah, you can probably do 150 to 170 grams of protein. But even the largest man, humongous, a freaking giant, I don't think anybody needs more than 200 grams of protein per day. That is just asking for kidney problems. And yeah, kidney problems suck. So, and liver problems suck too. So, uh, you know, being fit is awesome. Being muscular and lean is awesome. But you also have to take care of your health. You can't just eat your macros specifically to get humongous muscles and then your kidneys are shot, your liver is shot, you're dehydrated, so your AG ratio is through the roof. Your triglycerides are through the roof because you're carb loading every day. Your HDL is low. Your LDL is high because you're eating so much fat. Like, you don't want it. You don't want it. The increased risk at heart health and cardiovascular disease and all of these other things, these are important too. So part of your fitness journey needs to account for periodic blood work and making sure that everything is in order and everything is within a reasonable range, the healthy range. And you have to talk to doctor if you are an athlete or go down the line of becoming an athlete, or at least live like an athlete, like the athlete lifestyle. You got to remember that some of these things may change. Like I forgot which lipid, but there's a lipid that will skyrocket through the roof if they test you the day after you did intense leg workouts. So your lipids might be perfectly fine, but because of the intense leg workouts, your lipid, and you take the test the next day, now that particular lipid is through the roof. So you really, I'm gonna try to break down. I wish I had a better setup so that I can go through all of the details with you guys, like on screen. But I'm doing everything on my phone right now. Hopefully, in the future, I'll be able to have a computer and I'll be able to do everything on screen so that you can see me going through all of the different blood tests that you can get and what everything means and how to read it and what does it mean to be below the healthy range, what does it mean to be above the healthy range, and how to reverse in either direction depending on where you are. Like your AG ratio, if it's like 3.1, if it's like if it's a little too high, that's probably because you was dehydrated when you took the blood test. If it's too low, I forgot what it means, but that is reasons to believe that you have a certain condition, or I forgot what it is. But that is it isn't. I don't want to say that it's dangerous, but it is things that you want to get in order. You know, you want to keep your HDL high, your LDL low, your triglycerides low. Right now, one of my main concerns is getting my triglycerides very low. The healthy amount of triglycerides should be about 150. Mine's is at about 420, which is really bad, because if I get to 500, then that means that I'm like sick. Like I forgot what condition that gives you, but it's like a serious condition and it sucks. So the main way to lower your triglycerides would be by reducing your carbohydrates. That's mainly why I recommend people not eating more than 200 grams of carbohydrates per day, because more than 200 grams of carbohydrates is going to spike your triglycerides, spike your glucose, and if you keep doing these things, you're gonna end up getting sick, and that's gonna suck. So, all right, guys. Final thoughts. I'm going to eat 100 grams of protein, 35 grams of fat, 200 grams of carbohydrates. It's going to be about 1,502 calories. So I should be within, let's say, rounding up, 500 calorie deficit. Working out intensely 3 times a week. Since I don't have a gym, I'm going to be using resistance bands and whatever equipment there is at the park, and a lot of body weight exercises. So in my first video, I showed pictures of myself. So if you want to see that, I have pictures of myself in the first video that I posted. And in 3 months, I'm going to post my progress.